All right, folks, welcome to this short video on Adobe Animate. It's another introductory video to using Adobe Animate, which is, it's not going to be updated by Adobe moving forward, it looks like, but it'll still be available. It is a nice little 2D program that is easy to learn, and you can still do some pretty cool animation in it. So right now I'm at the startup screen. I'm just going to go with the default full HD. So if you want to go ahead and choose that. And in this video, what we're going to do is something called nesting. Um, and so basically we're going to be able to create animation that will sit inside of animation. And in this case with Adobe Animate, I like to use the symbols feature when it comes to Adobe Animate. So I've got my scene here. I'm going to go to Window. Right now, I am working on, if I go down to Workspace, I'm on Classic. I'm going to do Reset Classic. That way you can do the same and get to where yours matches mine. Um, Hopefully you've watched my other video on Adobe Animate that gives an introduction to how everything is laid out. I'm going to skip a lot of that, but I'm going to go ahead and do a file, save as. And I'm going to go ahead and call this, I'm going to just put it in my downloads, call it nesting tutorial. And now to practice the nesting feature, we're going to do a real simple animation. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on the detail. You all can actually do that once you start playing around with it. But we're just going to make a little bumblebee fly around. So what I'm going to do, go to my toolbar, click and hold on this rectangle and choose the oval. Then over here in my properties, I'm going to make sure my stroke is set to none. And my fill, I'm going to go ahead and just do, I said it was going to be a bumblebee. I'm just going to choose yellow. And I'm going to create the shape of my bumblebee's body. So now I've got that created. It's on layer 1 here in scene 1. So I'm going to select it. Because it does not have a stroke, I don't have to worry about making sure I grab the outer edge. So I'm just going to select the body. I'm going to right click, tell it to convert to symbol, or press the F8 key at the top of your keyboard. And I'm going to call this bug. I'm going to change it to a graphic and use center registration, which means it'll put its pivot point right in the middle. Then I'm going to hit OK. Now I've got a symbol. If I go to my library, my bug is in there as well. So the library is these little books, just like a library. I'm going to double click now on my bug and it takes me into the bug so I can edit it there. Now I'm looking at a new layers palette for just the bug. So in here, I'm going to call this body. And I'm going to go to frame 10. I believe I'm on frame 10. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, frame 10. I'm going to press the F5 key at the top of my keyboard, which is going to extend the frame. All right, so now I've got the body staying for 10 frames. Now I'm going to go to the top left of the timeline, this plus sign here for new layer. I'm going to create it. I'm going to call this front wing. And I'm going to go to frame 1. And on frame 1, I'm going to grab my oval tool. And for the fill, I'm going to choose like a grayish color. And for this alpha, I'm going to lower that to about, play around with it, see if you get a shade you like. And I'm going to come draw a wing for my bug. So I'm going to click on it. And it's called front wing. It's semi-transparent. You can see through it. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to press F8 to create a symbol. I'm going to call this wing. Actually, let's call it front wing. We'll leave it as graphic. And then I'm going to put registration at the bottom and hit OK. it puts it right there. So let me see what it does if I rotate. It's still trying to rotate from the center. So what I'm going to do is with this tool selected, I'm going to grab that little dot and bring it down here. Now it will rotate right there. All right. So next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take this layer, my front wing layer, right click, and I'm going to tell it to duplicate. I'm going to bring the copy one to the bottom by left mouse clicking and holding. We call this back wing. And they are both on top of each other right now. So for the front wing, I'm going to select that, move it to the side. Actually, you know what? Let's leave them where they are. And we'll just do this. We'll go on the front wing. We're going to rotate it this way. For the back wing, we're going to rotate it this way. And so their keyframes are set in those positions. I'm going to go halfway on my timeline here. And I'm going to right click on the back wing, insert keyframe. Right click on the front wing, insert keyframe. I'm just going to flip flop them. Then I'm going to go to, let's do frame 11 actually. I'm going to go to frame 1 for the front wing, right click on that frame until it copy frame. Then I'm going to go to 11, paste frame. Same thing with the back wing, go to frame 1, right click, copy frame. Go to frame 11, right click, paste frame. Then I'm going to go to frame 11 again on the body, and I'm just going to press F5 to extend it. So right now, my wings just flip-flop. What I need to do next is on the front wing, this gray area here, I need to right click, create classic. Next one, right click, create classic tween. Same thing for the bottom wing or the back wing. Right click in the gray, choose classic tween. Now it moves the wings for me. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go ahead and right above the body, I'm just going to create another layer. I'm going to call it detail. And on that one, I'm just going to go ahead and choose my circle again, set my alpha back for the fill color, and I'm going to choose black. I'm going to draw a little eyeball. Then I'll grab my paintbrush and I'll just paint the lines. Nothing fancy because I'm trying to just show this as a tutorial. You can spend the time with all the details. So now I've got my nested animation, which is the wing flap. Now on my scene, I'm going to go back to where it says scene 1, click on it. I've got my bug here. I'm going to move him off screen. So I'm just selecting my symbol, moving him off screen. We'll call this bug on layer 1. And I'm going to go to frame 60 on that layer. And I'm going to press F5 to extend it for the amount of time. Now what I'm going to do is go in here and I'm going to right click on the gray and tell it to create a motion tween. And anywhere when I have the motion tween set up, if wherever I put my slider, this blue line, if I move the bug, it's going to put a keyframe. Move another point, it's going to put another keyframe. Move another point, it keeps putting keyframes. And so I'm just doing that, moving my little bug like he's running around getting swung at by a hand, and he's just pestering the person who is trying to swat him. And you'll notice the wings are still flapping. Now, if you do not like these jagged straight lines, Once you've made your motions, if you go in with your selection tool, you can grab these little points. It'll give you that curved line. You can then start to try to make your movements a little more fluid for your bug so that it doesn't look like the bug is just making completely sharp turns, because 90 degrees doesn't usually happen naturally in nature, so, or at least in the design of nature, but so now it looks a little more fluid. All right, so now what do? We've got a file, and if you want to be able to post your animation, you got to have it in a format that will actually play somewhere. So the next thing you can do is do File. I'm going to do a save first, just in case anything happens. I'm going to go File, Export. Animated GIF is really easy to do, especially if you don't have any audio. So if I choose Animated GIF, it's going to pop up this little window here once it's done processing. Now, GIFs are limited on the amount of colors that they can use. Luckily, mine only has a few shades, so it's able to make a good index system pretty well. Then I would hit save, and I'll just leave it nesting tutorial GIF. It's going to try to render it. I'll go see if it finished. So here's my nesting tutorial. And there's my bug. You can also do some other options. You can do File, Export, Movie. Always usually a better one to go, and you would just change the drop down. SWF works pretty nicely. You can also do image sequences out of here that you could then take into compositing software like Premiere or After Effects. You can also do, let's see, export video and mess around with the file types. H.264 is going to be an MP4. So those are options as well. MP4s work really nicely on YouTube. So that's really the extent of this. One last little thing you could touch up if you wanted, if you don't want a white background here, you could click with your selection tool anywhere in the background. It'll allow you to change the stage color, and you can pick a more natural color if you want to do so. All right, so that's where I'm going to end this off. That's another just introductory lesson for Adobe Animate. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next ones.